In less than a year, I went from cleaning toilets to a job in the city, what I thought was my dream job. But no one warns you what working in your 20s is really like. So here are 7 ugly lessons I learned the hard way. Starting off with number 1, dream jobs don't exist. I got my first job when I was 17. It wasn't anything huge, but £2,500 a month when I was literally cleaning toilets weeks before was insane. Starting off as an intern, I was convinced this was my dream job, until I realized the youngest person at this company, other than me, was 28. So there I was, a whole generation apart from everyone else. But the experience was seriously valuable. Just 2 years later, the company was worth over $1 billion, and it did more for me than if I spent 10 comfortable years working in somewhere more traditional. Number 2, lifestyle creep is real. When you spend more because you're earning more. In less than a year, I went from university housing with rats in the kitchen to living in a luxury apartment. It happened so quickly. When you have a job, there's a currency more important than a salary. For every month you work, what are you actually getting back in return? Time. I like to think of it as this. If it cost me $3,000 a month to live, if I save $6,000 at the end of the month, I've spent 1 month of my life to buy back 2 months later on. In the early part of your career, you'll probably save less than 1 month for every month you work. But when you're more in demand and start to get paid a lot more, you want to rapidly buy back time as much as possible. At one point, I was working like 4 full-time jobs at once. I know that sounds insane, but 1 month spent brought me back a year of my time. A good rule to follow is make sure you only spend 1 month to buy back at least 1 later on. Number 3, changing jobs is good sometimes. Remember that dream job I mentioned earlier? At first, it was amazing. But as I got better, I learned the game and did better work. But somehow I felt limited. Every time I asked for a raise, my boss gave the same excuse each time. If we give you more, then we have to give everyone else a raise, to be fair. Even though I knew I was worth far more, I started comparing what I did to what I earned, and it didn't feel right anymore. Then one day, something happened. Another company offered me a job, slightly better pay, and way less work. So I took it. And because I had so much extra time, I took on more jobs. Until eventually, I was working as much as I was before, but earning over triple my original salary. I'm so glad I worked the first job though. A lot of jobs in your 20s are not meant to be forever. They're supposed to build you up until someone makes you an offer you can't refuse. So if you're unhappy with what you're earning now, focus on being an asset to your industry. That maybe one day, someone will pay you what you know you're worth. And if you're thinking about changing jobs, let me help you. I run a private jobs list with real opportunities at hundreds of companies that are hiring someone just like you. If that sounds interesting, click the link in the description below. Number 4, painful sacrifices. I started working a full-time job in school, and because I got busy a lot, some of my friends kind of ghosted me. It wasn't a great feeling. To be honest, that was a blessing in disguise. A real friend will understand why you're doing something, and they'll be there or not be around for your own good. Look, I'm not saying you have to go full monk mode and work every second of the day, but you do need a plan to know what all this sacrifice is for, whether it's something you want now or a bigger goal down the line, like retiring your parents. Just make sure your pain has purpose. Otherwise, at some point you'll burn out and be in the same place you started, but with less time. Number 5, unreasonable bosses. Working a job itself is stressful, but a boss that makes you want to quit doesn't help. I once had a manager who threatened to fire me literally every few weeks, thinking it would make me do more, but actually it did the opposite. I'd take any opportunity to never work for him again. But I've had some good bosses too. The kind of boss that teaches you the game while earning your loyalty in the process. I feel like some bosses confuse leadership with control. I mean, how would they expect us to do our best when we're scared 24/7? Not every boss is a bad one, but you'll have to deal with a few, especially in your 20s. Number 6, burning out. When I started working, I went overdrive. Once I did something you should never do. Stay awake with no sleep for 60 hours straight. It was awful. I couldn't function the entire week. Working every minute isn't hustling. It's a waste of time. Working in your 20s is a marathon, and the only way to win is to stay in the game. I look at it this way. I think lying in and sleeping very little are the same. Very bad for you. Number 7, workplace politics. Being good at your job doesn't get a promotion. There's more, and it's being good with people. I had a colleague ask me for help with a project just before a big meeting, and I agreed to help. thinking nothing of it. Literally 10 minutes later, one of the executive team asked about a status of that same project, and that was when she threw me under the bus. I walked into a trap just trying to be helpful. The best way to climb up a company is by being likable first, then good at your job. So don't just be good and good to work with. Working in your 20s is hard. It's a long game, but if you stay the course, you'll have the best chance of winning. Also, if you're between 21 and 25 years old, you should probably watch this video next. It'll save you years.